Chapter 270 leaks are here, so if you don't want spoilers, back out now. Chapter starts off with Megami and Shoko at a cemetery. The headstone reads Fushiguro family and he thanks Shoko for it. The next page I didn't want to lead you guys wrong, so I'm just going to read the translation. Among the remains of Sukuna that were ripped away from Megami, Tengen was left behind who had been absorbed. The next page Urahime says Tengen's barrier will be... She gets interrupted by Gakuganji who says, by placing in Sukuna's remains it will last a little longer. The next page I'm just going to read the translations. And if you want to read the translations, go check out my brother Myth over on X. The first few lines I'm not as worried about, but the last line Maki says, the Colon Games no longer functions. This is probably because of the incarnated type of players are taking steps together. Megami came back alive, it's a gamble, but it's pretty much certain that they're moving ahead with Hana and Yuji pulling off the curse items from the victims. We then hear from Daigo and Charles. If you don't remember, they were some of our Colon Game participants. It then pans over to Charles, who's working on his manga. It then pans over to our boy Takaba, and he's with somebody that our translator couldn't quite pinpoint. But together they're practicing their routines. It then pans over to Amai, and I apologize if I said that wrong. They say, long time no see, then Fatty Bombaddy says, uh-oh, oh, what? Amai says, that time. Then Amai apologizes for that time, and then a lawyer chick tells her they're not prosecuting her. Then Higuruma chimes in and says it's probably pressure from headquarters. And then he says, it seems they want to work me hard as a sorcerer. Then we get a pan over to Megami and Hana. Megami says, I will become Kuruzu's right arm from now on. Hana says, when shall we do the ceremony? Megami says, not in that way, I have a mission. Megami says, we'll talk later. And yes, it's all broken like that. Hana thinks to herself, I was too hasty, his speech is all broken. Then it pans over to Ajichi, who's looking at details of someone who appears to be cursed. Then it pans over to our dream team who are getting ready to go on this mission. They're discussing the details about what's going on. Then here's the final text from the last page. Next issue is the last chapter, the last mission, Itadori and Co are against a harassing curse user. Next issue, a supersized center color page. There was no Gojo comeback this chapter, so I apologize for those like myself who were hoping for that. Next chapter is the final chapter. Man, it's really hard to believe that it's finally coming to an end. I also heard that there might be another holiday in Japan next week that could affect the leaks, so as it gets closer I'll provide you with more details. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments.